very good evening and welcome to Premier League Live this Monday night as we're ready to bring a close to another Premier League weekend. Matchday 16 concludes tonight after a dramatic weekend of some incredible fixtures, some wonderful results and some big upsets as well. Some interesting stories from the weekend we have already witnessed, and one game to come tonight, and that is Bournemouth taking on West Ham at the Vitality Stadium. A Bournemouth side who've already beaten some of the top teams at home this season, the likes of an Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester City, all at home. We'll see if they can beat West Ham, who, despite last weekend's win at home against Wolves, they're still under pressure, and Julian Lopetegui's side would love to get a big 3 points on the road to take them further away from the drop zone, which they're only just 6 points clear of at the moment. Already this weekend we've had some huge storylines, of which we spoke of yesterday when Gary O'Neill was sacked by Wolves after their 2-1 defeat at home to Ipswich on Saturday evening. Well, there was another that bit the dust, as they say, this weekend, as Russell Martin, the Southampton manager, was also sacked after they were thrashed 5-0 by Tottenham at home last night. That was a 5-0 defeat. All 5 goals scored in the first half of that game, and the manner of the defeat surely added to that. This is the statement that Southampton put out at around about 10 o'clock last night, so around about an hour after Russell Martin as team finished that game at 5-0 defeat. It was actually just 20 minutes after Russell Martin finished his post-match press conference. It reads, we can confirm that we have taken the difficult decision to part ways with our men's first team manager Russell Martin. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Russell and his staff for all the hard work and the dedication that they have given the club on and off the pitch over the last 18 months. Everyone connected with Southampton FC will always have fantastic memories of last season, especially the playoff final win in May. Current under-21s manager Simon Rusk will take charge of the team on an interim basis until we announce a permanent replacement. Now, it comes obviously with Southampton bottom of the table, just 1 win in 16 this season and just 5 points, the joint second lowest points tally of any team ever at this stage of a Premier League season, and his side certainly not in a good position. Bottom of the league, lowest scorers, just 1 win. Every other team in the league has at least more than 1 win, at least 2 wins. But his side, his former side now, Russell Martin, sacked last night with the Saints bottom of the table. That is the big story from the weekend so far, along with Gary O'Neill being sacked from Wolves, to the bottom 2 sides in the Premier League sacking their managers this weekend. But of course it's a lot tighter above that, and we'll talk all about that this evening as well. Before we get kick-off at the Vitality Stadium, which is just over 5 minutes away, so moving swiftly on, of course, with Arsenal, Liverpool dropping points this weekend, Aston Villa losing away at Nottingham Forest, City collapsing at home in the derby against United yesterday, big wins for Palace, a big win for Newcastle as well, and Ipswich as well on the road, and a 5th win in a row for Enzo Maresca's Chelsea, and a big much needed win for Tottenham on the road at Southampton last night. But these 2 teams we watched tonight, a Bournemouth side who, as I said, who have some big giant killings at home this season, but West Ham have beaten them already this season in a Carabao Cup tie, the second round of the Carabao Cup back in August. Jared Bowen scoring the winner in that one at the London Stadium to send West Ham through to the 3rd round of that one. But Bournemouth looking recently for some sort of hope against West Ham United. Let's have a look at the pre-match stats. Bournemouth have failed to win to beat West Ham in the last 5 head-to-head fixtures, both home and away, drawn 2 and lost 3 of those last 5. However, West Ham have won just 1 of their last 6 away league games this season. They've drawn 2 and lost 3. But Monday nights, and Mondays in general, could be a happy hunting ground. Happy Mondays, some would say, for West Ham. They've won 9 of the last 10 Premier League games played on a Monday. Won 9 and lost the other 1. But Bournemouth have won just 2 of their 7 home Premier League games against West Ham since they were first promoted back in 2016. 2 wins, 3 draws and 2 defeats in that time. In terms of key players this evening, Dango Ouattara, who starts for Bournemouth, comes in for the injured Tavernier. He starts on the left-hand side. We'll get to that news in a moment, but he scored the 95th minute winner against Ipswich last weekend to Dango Ouattara in a 2-1 win over Ipswich, a comeback win against Ipswich at Portman Road. And Jared Bowen, as I said, scored the only goal against Bournemouth in that cup tie in early August. Right, so those are the pre-match stats. But it's anybody's guess as to who will come out victorious tonight with these two sides. I wouldn't quite say unpredictable, but what I would say is West Ham are a team, you don't know who's going to show up or what team is going to show up on the night. A Bournemouth side, 7 wins from their 15 games this season. Not too shabby for a side who were a non-league side quite a number of years ago. They've come a long way since then. They've never finished higher than 9th in a Premier League season. We'll see how far that Antonio Iraola can take them. Let's have a look at tonight's teams then. And Kepa continues in goal for Bournemouth. A back four of Adam Smith, who captains the side this evening. Ilya Zabarnyi is joined alongside Dean Huijsen, who got that only goal in the 1-0 win against Tottenham here 10 days ago. Milos Kerkez continues at left back. Ryan Christie is joined alongside Lewis Cook in midfield with Adams dropping to the bench. Justin Kluivert, who scored a hat-trick of penalties as of recently, he starts in the 10. Dango Ouattara off on the right and Antoine Semenyo off the left, with Evan Nielsen through the middle in a 4-2-3-1 for Bournemouth. For West Ham, Fabianski starts in goal. A back four of Vladimir Sofal, who comes in at right back, with Emerson suspended at left back. Their usual right back in Wan-Bissaka, he moves to left back, so Sofal's in at right back. Max Kilman and Konstantinos Mavropanos are the centre backs. Carlos Soler, and Edson Alvarez are the defensive midfield too, with Thomas Souček in the 10. Mohamed Kudus off the right. Off the left is Lucas Paquetá, who comes in for Somerville, who's on the bench, and Jared Bowen leading the line and captains the Hammers this evening. There's a lot of youth on the bench for both of these two teams tonight, who have a few injuries that aren't going their way at the moment and certainly hampering their benches. But tonight, their starting 11s are very strong, and let's see who can claim the points this evening. Bournemouth against West Ham United. Kick-off at the Vitality Stadium is next. A very good evening and welcome to Premier League Live this Monday evening as we watch Bournemouth take on West Ham United on the South Coast. The South Coast has been a familiar face for me this season, and it was a hunting ground of some big scorelines this weekend, with 3-1 Palace winning away at Brighton and Southampton thrash 5-0 against Tottenham. They'll be hoping, Bournemouth, that they don't become the third side that are on the South Coast to be thrashed at home this weekend. Well, they're going to kick us off this evening, are Bournemouth in their black and red home strip. West Ham in their changed away strip of white shirts and maroon shorts, or claret shorts, shall I say. As they're ready to get us underway, Bournemouth will kick from right to left in the first half. West Ham from left to right. As we're just awaiting the right time to get underway. Our referee this evening is Chris Kavanagh. Our VAR is Michael Salisbury. And we are underway at the Vitality Stadium on the South Coast to conclude another Premier League weekend as we edge ever closer to Christmas. They'll be hoping that they get a big 3 points as an early Christmas present, one of these two teams this evening. Yes, I did say that yesterday, but you know, sometimes you have to recycle things at this time of year, especially with the many games that is going round. We had a cracker of a Manchester derby yesterday, so anything half as good as that would be a real treat for us this evening. And you can see the stats down the right hand side of your screen. They will update as the game continues this evening. It's actually pretty even in the derby yesterday between United and City in the final outcomes of that one, but of course United winning it late on. Bournemouth themselves are accustomed to late wins. Of course, that win away at Ipswich. Dango Ouattara with a 95th minute winner to seal the points for Bournemouth. It was actually an equaliser in the 87th minute from Enes Unal, who's on the bench this evening. He got the leveller at 1-1. Ouattara actually got the assist for that goal as well. Here is Dango Ouattara looking for the cross, well blocked by Sofal, but it comes back to Ouattara again, beats past Paquetá. Cook, Ouattara now feeds it into Kluivert, who slipped as he tried to turn there. Wanted a foul, but the referee saw no issues as West Ham clear their lines and Bournemouth reclaim possession. Of course, Bournemouth, kind of a bogey team on West Ham for them in recent seasons in this competition. In all competitions, really, it seems, of recent years. Their last win against West Ham in any competition actually came in the Premier League all the way back, you wouldn't believe this, all the way back in January of 2019 when they won 2-0 here. It has been almost 6 years since their last victory over West Ham in all competitions, Bournemouth. So certainly well overdue a big 3 points against the Hammers. And a West Ham team that are actually not in form, that aren't really performing, that aren't kind of clicking as probably they should with the quality of players they have. Semenyo tried to feed it down the right hand side for Christie, but well covered over by Kilman and clears it away, but given away cheaply by Lewis Cook in the midfield. They tried to squeeze it through the midfield there to West Ham and Soler. He's given it away to Bournemouth. Kerkez. Now Ouattara. Trying to feed it in for the underlapping Kerkez, who gets to the byline. Tries to cut it back, and it will be a corner for Bournemouth. Really nice football. You see that with a number of other teams where the winger goes wide and the fullback actually comes in on the underlap on the inside of the winger. And Milos Kerkez, most known for his overlapping runs. Only one player in the Premier League has more overlapping runs than him, and that's Anthony Robinson at Fulham. 109 overlapping runs for Milos Kerkez. And now Bournemouth have a corner. Cook to deliver. Headed away. Not fully cleared though as Kerkez tried to deliver it back in, but the header was straight towards Fabianski. Here is Soler. Lays it off now to Mavropanos. We'll go long with it, looking for Sofal on the run against Kerkez. Kerkez misses his kick. Sofal into the box, and I don't know what he tried to do there, but it didn't work, and it goes flying behind for a goal kick. Again, really good. I talked about the overlapping runs. It's actually Milos Kerkez failing to deal with an overlapping run from Sofal. Kerkez tries to stretch for the ball, doesn't reach it. Sofal breaks past him, gets into the box. I don't know whether he's trying to shoot or whether he's trying to eye up a cross. Whatever Sofal tries to do, he swipes through the ball and it goes flying into the crowd behind that goal and comes to nothing. But a good idea from West Ham, stretching the Bournemouth defence. Here's Bowen. Now into Soler, tried to force it through to Kudus, but no room to manoeuvre there, and Soler, trying to win the ball back, gives away a free kick. But the point I'm making, a West Ham team that aren't maybe delivering or kind of playing up to the quality they have. You know, we talk about Mohamed Kudus and the impact he's had in previous seasons. Last season was absolutely electric, has been this season to be fair. And a West Ham team that has underperformed for the quality of player that they have in their squad, with the likes of a Kudus, a Paquetá, a Bowen, a Socek, even Alvarez, Wan-Bissaka at times, a really decent centre-back, Max Kilman, a great centre-back as well. And then you talk about, you know, the likes of a Somerville they brought in, an Emerson from Chelsea, those quality players that build up the squad. They're a good team, West Ham. I do think at times, though, they can be a bit a victim of how tight the Premier League is at the moment. But here comes Kluivert into Semenyo. Nice interchange of play. Semenyo trying to break into the box. Tracked all the way by Kilman as he cuts it back now to Christie, who has the space on the edge. And the shot deflected behind for the corner. Better again from Bournemouth. Not afraid to manoeuvre positions. When the wide man goes out, or the central man goes out to the wide area and the wide man comes into the central area, and Semenyo and Kluivert swapping positions, it creates that little bit of confusion in the West Ham defence, allows the space to open up for Ryan Christie, who can have the shot on the edge of the box, and takes a slight deflection of a West Ham defender, and another Bournemouth corner. Cook to deliver again, although the referee spotted something for the moment before they do take this corner. Kluivert and Souček, I believe, there, that are the problem for the referee, as Cook does deliver. Bit low as it's flicked across the box, and it's just blocked as it came through to Semenyo there, and West Ham clear their lines. Goodness me. Certainly not a good bit of defending initially from West Ham. The ball just came flying across the box as Kerkez tries to go over the top, but Mavropanos had the better of his man in Evan Nielsen, and West Ham clear their lines. Certainly an intense start from Bournemouth. It's clearly the philosophy for Andoni Iraola, is that intensity in his sides. We've seen that from Bournemouth multiple times this season. You know, one thing I would bring it back to, that win over Man City here. They just outrun Man City. They outplayed them. They created so much intensity in that game that puts Man City under so much pressure that it was unplayable at times for even the champions. It's Kluivert out to Ouattara on the left hand side. Ouattara with a cross. Back post it comes Semenyo. Not got the pace on the ball and just directed it towards Fabianski really in the end, Antoine Semenyo. But again, good pressure down that left hand side from Bournemouth. Nice loop and cross by Ouattara to the back post, and Semenyo did get up. Great leap, but just not the pace and power and direction on the ball to take it past Fabianski, who gathered comfortably. Nice leave by Souček. Played it through to Paquetá. Back to Souček now. Out to Wan-Bissaka for West Ham. But end to end early doors here. Here's Carlos Soler. Spread the ball to space from Mavropanos on the right hand side. 8 minutes gone. 0-0. Bournemouth have had a few good attacking opportunities so far. 2 corners and 2 edge of the box shots as well. And Kepa comes out of his box there to retrieve the ball and take it under possession for the home team. One thing about Bournemouth that has actually been really entertaining to watch is how they're not wasting possession. They're not kind of toying with, let's dominate possession, let's control games of football by having 80%, 70% possession. They have this directness in the way they play. It's a very direct style of football, and I think that's really key for a team like a Bournemouth, who maybe aren't established in the top half of the Premier League, but want to break into that zone. Be a bit more direct, be a bit more unpredictable in your play, and when you have quality at the top end of the pitch, which they do have, you create that sense of ruthlessness in a sense, and that confidence that builds in your attack because of that direct style of football and the pacey players you have. You create these goals, you create beautiful moments, you win big games, you pull off big results against top teams, and that's what Bournemouth seem to be doing at the moment. And it's working perfectly for Andoni Iraola. Initially, it didn't start well for him. You know, we talked about it last season, starting the season really poorly after about 7-8 games, really lacking any sort of quality. But once they got to grips with his system and how to play it and got the right players in, you're starting to see the fruits of their labour. And when you give a manager time, although here come West Ham United. Here's Kudus down the left hand side, breaking away from a silly giveaway by Bournemouth. Nice ball into Paquetá, who wanted the shot but well blocked off by Milos Kerkez. And the second chance as he kicks it away, Kerkez for safety. As I was talking about how direct Bournemouth are, that's one of the weaknesses, one of the maybe negatives to that very direct style of football, is being hit on the counter-attack, creating that game of being very open and very vulnerable when you commit bodies up front. It's a long throw into the box from the Hammers, as Alvarez headed it in, but cleared away by Bournemouth. Here's Sofal. As Paquetá tried to chest it down there, but he just chested it straight out of play for a Bournemouth throw. Some tight results this weekend. Only 3 teams this weekend ended up winning by more than a 1-goal margin. Crystal Palace, Tottenham and Chelsea. Oh no, not sorry, Chelsea. Apologies. Newcastle, Tottenham and Crystal Palace. Newcastle with a 4-0 win against Leicester. Spurs with a 5-0 win against Southampton and a 3-1 win for Palace. Oh, that's lovely play in behind. Kluivert into Semenyo. Just wide from Bournemouth. Really good football. I said how direct they are from back to front in a matter of seconds. Long ball by Kepa. Wins the header initially, so Semenyo in behind. Fabulous flick on. Trying to see who the flick on came from. Might have been Evan Nielsen. See it again, yeah, beautiful flick by Evan Nielsen in behind. Kluivert then heads it forward for Semenyo, who breaks into that little half space between the full-back and the centre-back and tries to strike it across goal from the right-hand side, and it just goes narrowly wide. Really good football in a matter of seconds from Bournemouth, from back to front. And that just epitomises the football that Andoni Iraola wants them to play. 4 passes from your goalkeeper to having a shot on goal. Although here's Kudus looking for the cross. And actually got the deflection on that cross, did Mohamed Kudus. Will be a West Ham corner. West Ham's first corner of the game. On this left-hand side, and do have a danger man in the middle, do West Ham, and Thomas Souček. It's actually the second most goals from corners, does Thomas Souček. Only Gabriel has more since February 2020. As the corner comes in, and the header is over the bar. It wasn't Souček, it was Max Kilman that had the header that time. See it again, he makes the run round the back. His man doesn't stay with him, and Ouattara might get a touch on it actually, Ouattara, in the end, as he just tries to back into Kilman. Maybe a touch of a Bournemouth player. There is, so another corner will come. Right-footed delivery again. Flicked on at the near post by Christie, but Cook is there at the back post to make sure there's no danger from Bournemouth. And then Sofal's ball in behind is easily recovered. Ooh. Huijsen had to be alert to that one, as Kerkez's ball across to him wasn't particularly smart. Another thing about this Bournemouth team is it's not only the fact that they are going very direct and playing this really good football, but it's also the quality of how young those players are, but the quality they're showing at such a young level, or at such a young age, sorry, is actually really, really impressive. You know, we talk about Milos Kerkez at left back as one of the kind of hot favourites to be going to a big club. No offence to Bournemouth, but a traditional top 6 club in the future. It's the quality he's showing at this club at the minute that it would get him there. As Kluivert breaking away into space. Tried to shoot, but blocked on the edge of the box as Kudus skips away from Christie's challenge. Now West Ham through. Here's Jared Bowen through the middle. Took the touch back from the D. Hits the crossbar. And over it goes for a goal kick. Goodness me, from end to end, Kluivert has a shot at one end at the edge of the box, and then right up the other end come West Ham. Kudus very central, driving forward, spots the run of Bowen right between the 2 centre-backs. Bowen then takes a touch back off the centre-backs to the edge of the D, and decides to measure one for the top corner. Curls it past Kepa, but just doesn't get the dip on it that he would have needed, and it just comes off the top of the crossbar and behind for a goal kick. Certainly end to end so far. type of game we love to see, to be honest, in the Premier League. As Paquetá looks to fizz that one in behind, but Huijsen got the best of that one alongside Cook. And Huijsen takes no prisoners there in clearing that one for a throw-in. As West Ham take it quickly. Paquetá, Souček with a cross. No one in the middle. As Smith cleared his lines there, but Kudus picks it back up for West Ham. Tried to go for the 1-2 with Wan-Bissaka. Decided against that in the end as Soler now picks it up. Now Kilman. Soler. Now back to Mavropanos for West Ham. As Bowen comes deep. Try and pick up a bit of possession. Here's Alvarez. So far the possession's been fairly even. It's 52% in West Ham's favour to Bournemouth 48%. So no real major discrepancies in possession wise. Both are sharing the ball at the moment. And sharing the shots. 9 shots we've had so far in 17 minutes. 5 for Bournemouth, 4 for West Ham. Certainly full of attacking intent so far, but just the 1 shot on target from those 9 shots. As Bowen try to feed that one in to Souček, but well cut out again by Bournemouth. It was Ouattara tries to send Semenyo and Evan Nielsen on their bikes there, but in the end well broken up by West Ham. Soler now, space in the middle, tries to measure the ball over the top, just a bit too close and too central, and Kepa comes racing out to gather ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Well, despite Bournemouth's record against West Ham, their record recently in the Premier League is not too bad. They've lost just 2 of their last 8 Premier League games, home and away. 1 home defeat and 1 away defeat. They've won 5 of those 8 games, including 2-0 against Arsenal, 2-1 against City, 1-0 against Tottenham, and then wins away at Ipswich and Wolves to boot to that. They also drew away at Aston Villa in that run as well. So a very impressive run of games for Bournemouth recently. Their only defeats came away at Brentford and away to Brentford and at home to Brighton in that run. Sofal with a cross. Not a great bit that Sabarni had to do there, as he had to put it behind for the corner. It's not a comfortable thing that a defender wants to be doing, but it's needs must there, because Sabarni had 2 West Ham players lurking, and Sofal's cross did cause a bit of trouble, and West Ham get the corner on the right hand side. Excuse me. Let's see what threat they can have here. It's Bowen to deliver. Left-footed cross in. Keeper came for it. Goodness me, it could have bounced into his own goal there, as he didn't collect it first time, Kepa. Then got a second shot at it. See it again. It whipped in by Bowen. Tried to punch at it. Come off the head of his own player in Ouattara initially, and then Kepa had to reach back as it bounced towards his own goal. He had to reach back and gather just in the nick of time. Here's Carlos Soler. Now Wan-Bissaka. Maybe West Ham getting a bit more control of this game in these last few minutes. Having a bit more possession. As Mavropanos goes back to Fabianski. Out to Kilman, who looks for the overlap of Wan-Bissaka. Lovely first touch by Wan-Bissaka. Squares it across now to Paquetá. Not much room to manoeuvre. Tried to squeeze it in behind for Wan-Bissaka again. Did Paquetá, but again well alert was the Bournemouth defence. And they clear it away comfortably with Adam Smith. Wan-Bissaka with an interesting role tonight. Of course, as I said, usually starting at right back for West Ham this season. Starts at left back this evening with Emerson suspended after receiving his 5th yellow card of the season last week against Wolves. But to be honest, you know, it's interesting not only attacking wise for West Ham, but how Bournemouth will defend that situation. So far, West Ham pushing their fullbacks up really high, both Sofal and Wan-Bissaka when they're in possession, and pushing their centre-back so far wide as they give it away at midfield here, West Ham. Kluivert into Evan Nielsen, edge of the box, went down, but referee said a bit too easily. Did he go down there, Evan Nielsen? And West Ham win the ball back. Only momentarily though, as Huijsen steps in and wins it back for Bournemouth. Cook, Kluivert, Christie. Gives it wide now on the right hand side for Smith. Back to Christie. Now Zabarnyi. Good pressure from Bournemouth, winning that ball back. And Evan Nielsen tried to make the run in behind. Long ball. Evan Nielsen gets past the challenge. Breaking into the byline. Trying to cut it back. Well charged down and cleared away by West Ham, who want to attack themselves here. Kudus. To Wan-Bissaka. Back to Kudus again. Crosses the halfway line with the ball, but Cook got the block in, but again not enough to keep the possession for Bournemouth. West Ham with Soler. Now Alvarez. Lots of turnovers in possession. And I mean, you can expect that with Bournemouth being such a direct system of play. Much more turnovers, kind of just inherently with the style of football, but some really good intense pressing as well at times tonight from both teams, and winning the ball back well. As we are already halfway through the first half here at the Vitality. No goals, but so far it seems to be that both sides are very well matched at this moment in time. They try and go for the 1-2s. Lovely flick by Souček. Bowen did return the favour. Souček with a cross, and the shot is blocked by Paquetá, as Bournemouth clear it away. Right, Kluivert into Semenyo. Again, Bournemouth on the break quickly. Semenyo bursting through and is taken out there. I think it might have been Carlos Soler that got the challenge. It was, and it's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for Carlos Soler for that one. Yep, stopping a dangerous attack, or a promising counter-attack, whatever you want to call it. That's certainly stopped Antoine Semenyo in his tracks there to Carlos Soler, and that gets him a yellow card and his 5th of the season, which means he will miss West Ham's next game, which is against Brighton at the London Stadium. And that will be on the 21st. That will be on Saturday at 3 o'clock, that game. Carlos Soler will not be in the West Ham team for that one. Here is Huijsen. Switches it out to Kerkez on the left flank. Looking for the cross into the box. Away by Mavropanos. Out to Ouattara. Edge of the box. Ouattara will shoot. Blocked the first time. Tried to get it for a second, but Edson Alvarez bursts away. Now Kudus. Bodies forward in white here for West Ham, but they don't want to go just kind of direct with that one and decide to come back to their centre-backs just to keep possession for the moment. It's Kluivert there trying to apply a bit of pressure from Mavropanos, who did well to get it back to his goalkeeper as Fabianski knocks it long. Huijsen intercepting. Brought down well by Soler in the middle, and spinning away from his marker is Kudus. Smith couldn't hold on. Kudus out to the left hand side for Wan-Bissaka. 2 up against him. Wan-Bissaka whips the cross in. Paquetá was the target, but Huijsen got it clear. Bournemouth on the ropes a bit here at the moment. Here's Wan-Bissaka out to Kudus again on the left. Kudus to deliver low. Spinning around was Bowen, who forces a good save out of Kepa, who sends it into the air and then gathers it at the second time of asking, does the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Again, really good play by West Ham. Nice turn by Bowen. A good shot. Straight down the throat of Kepa, but he reacted well. Punched it straight up into the air and caught it as it came back down. But there's certainly moments in this game where both teams can really use their quality at the top end of the pitch to make the difference. It's been end to end. It's been almost you have a shot, I have a shot, you have a shot, I have a shot kind of vibe. There's been 10 shots, 5 for each team at the moment. Well, it's just updated on my screen. It's actually 13 shots, 7 for West Ham, 6 for Bournemouth. So again, we're continuing in that same vein. Lots of shots for both teams. Here's Semenyo, couldn't get past Wan-Bissaka. And Kudus there to help out to keep West Ham in possession. Soucek. Wan-Bissaka will thump it long, targeting Paquetá on the run, but well dealt with again by the Bournemouth defence as Barney knocked it long. But again, no one there to sustain the ball for Bournemouth as they give it back to West Ham with Soler. Mavropanos trying to switch it out to the right, but Ouattara there defensively helping out. And now room for a break here for Lewis Cook. Down to Kluivert on the left flank. Overlap from Kerkez, back to Kluivert. Infield to Ouattara, whose space. He will switch it, but just a bit short to Semenyo as Wan-Bissaka intercepted, and now Kudus breaks away with the ball. Soler in the midfield there for West Ham. Again, you have to keep an eye on this one because any given moment one of these two teams could be in behind and attacking. It seems to be that open a type of game so far this evening. Certainly chances galore. Not many clear-cut scoring opportunities, but certainly some good half chances. I would say more for the visitors than the home side, to be honest. As Howson tries to switch it out to Kluivert. Well blocked off by Sofal. And Kerkez tried to retrieve it back, but Bowen there to pressure him. Now finds Alvarez in the middle for West Ham. Kudus on the turn. Sprays it out to Wan-Bissaka on the left-hand side. Semenyo dropping in to help out defensively. Wan-Bissaka infield to Kudus again. Linking it up with Soler. Soler trying to squeeze it into the box. Nice 1-2 with Paquetá. Soler just goes past the post. West Ham incessant that it was a corner, that there was a deflection, but the referee and the officials disagree. Lovely 1-2 link up between Paquetá and Soler. And Soler just takes it on his left, rolls it to his right, bends it round Smith and trying to curl it to the far corner. Kepa was diving, and in the end it did go just clearly wide and there was no deflection from what I could see from the replays. So goal kick given, and rightfully so in my opinion. So the ball went long there, and Evan Nielsen and Mavropanos went head to head there, and Mavropanos has come off the worst, so he's just won West Ham a free kick in that situation. So 29 minutes gone, 0-0. Just see that moment again. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really. Neither of them really do anything wrong. They're both going for the ball, but maybe Evan Nielsen using his body a bit more, maybe, I don't know. Whatever the referee has seen there, but a free kick for West Ham. To be fair, Bournemouth didn't seem very unhappy with the decision, so no real complaints from the home side there. I talked about Bournemouth's recent form. West Ham have been in and out, really. They've been doing the hokey-cokey recently with their results in the Premier League. You look at their last 8 games in the Premier League, and it's unpredictable season, really. They've won 3, lost 4, and drawn 1 of their last 8 games in the Premier League. So it's anybody's guess what West Ham team's going to show up. And in all of those games they've lost in the last 8, they've conceded 3 or more goals in those games. 4-1 at Tottenham, 3-0 away at Forest, 5-2 at home to at Arsenal, and then that 3-1 defeat away at Leicester. So their losses are when they concede goals. They concede quite a few of them to West Ham. When they win, they're not the most convincing. The 2-1 win against Wolves, the 2-1 against Manchester United were in their last 8 games, quite interestingly. And then that 2-0 win away at Newcastle. And the only other result was the 0-0 draw with Everton at home. It's a real mixed bag for Julian Lopetegui this season in the Premier League for the Hammers. And coming into this one tonight, 14th in the league, just 6 points off the bottom 3, 6 points off the relegation zone. It's not particularly plain sailing for the Hammers just yet, but you look at it on the contrary. If they win tonight, West Ham would just be 6 points. 6 points, yes, 6 points off top 5 in the league. So a little run from West Ham, a good run of results, and they could turn their season from a season of nearly sacking their manager to nearly getting European football. It's Bournemouth with the cross, ended away by Sofal. That's how tight the Premier League is at the minute. Bournemouth could actually go into the top 5 tonight if they win by 3 goals or more. They would go above Manchester City in the table. As it stands, if they don't win by 3 goals or more, the highest they can go to is 6th, of course, and that draw would do that, or a win less than 3 goals would also do such a result. They would actually be on 25 points if they were to call the final whistle right here, right now. They would be above Aston Villa in the table with Bournemouth if we were to count this game as a draw. As Max Kilman couldn't really do anything about that long ball and had to put it out for a throw. The former Wolves defender, who played his former team this time last Monday night at the London Stadium. Let's see what Antoine Semenyo can do here from this long throw on the right hand side for Bournemouth. An unorthodox set piece, but one of those new trendy set pieces, as the long throw came off the head of Christie and went well wide. Goal kick. As Fabianski looks to take this goal kick for West Ham. We can tell you what's coming up on LFS in the coming days, in the lead up to Christmas, which is now just 9 days away until Christmas Day, and we'll have you full of action from the Premier League and the Carabao Cup quarter-finals as well to lead up to the Christmas spell. We will have 2 Carabao Cup quarter-finals for you this midweek. On Wednesday night, we will be heading to St Mary's as Southampton take on Liverpool. And then on Thursday night, we'll have the big tie as Tottenham take on Manchester United in North London. That's on Thursday nights. Then if we look ahead to the weekend ahead, if we go to Saturday, there's some big games on Saturday, but that huge game on Sunday at 4:30 this Sunday as Tottenham take on Liverpool in North London. So 2 big games back-to-back for Ange Postecoglou's Spurs, both at home. United in the Cup, and then Liverpool in the league on the Sunday evening. And that game, Tottenham Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, caused a lot of controversy last season with a few decisions that went against the visitors on that one. And that would bring us right up till Christmas Day. And then over the new year, we will have a lot more football for you in 2025 on LFS. So no shortage of action. No doubt about that. Well, 10 minutes to go in the first half. I think it's settled a bit more now in the last 5-10 minutes, this one. Although Bournemouth give it away from playing out from the back there. Hosen with a poor pass as Mavropanos tried to thread one through. Certainly not one of his key traits, and that one well blocked out. So there's a Bournemouth player down here, which Evan Nielsen, who was trying to battle for the ball, ultimately came out the worst of the two players in that battle. And Andone Areola hoping that it's not too serious for his centre forward, as he almost looks like he's praying on the sidelines there. Oh, goodness me. I've just seen the replay of it. That's really sore. Either his ankle or his knee, but one of the two. I think he's kind of hyperextended his knee, and it looks really sore. It's one of those types of pains that empathetically you can feel just by watching it, and it looks really sore. But he doesn't look in the worst of ways at the moment, does Evan Nielsen. Well, if he does need to come off, Enes Unal is on the bench this evening for Bournemouth. He did get that equaliser with Ipswich last weekend. He joined from Getafe in the summer for almost £14 million. And he was actually on loan at Getafe last season. He is back to his feet, Evan Nielsen, so that's a very good sign. And we want to see a player get injured, but it looks like he will be okay to continue this evening. A quick look at the stats then. West Ham have had more possession, slightly more of the shots, just one shot since I last told you about the shots. 8 for West Ham, 6 for Bournemouth. So it's kind of settled down, as I said, this game. It's not been as frantic end-to-end and open as it was in the first 20 minutes or so. 20-25 minutes, but still you feel the first goal will be crucial in this one. Mavropanos. Alvarez. To Paquetá. Now Kilman. Alvarez. It's West Ham in the Bournemouth half at the moment, looking for a way through. Is Alvarez over the top, trying to find Bowen in that diagonal run, but again well defended by Ouattara, who's back there at the moment for Bournemouth. And he's having to clear his lines once again. Looks to switch it to Semenyo. Bit of a heavy first touch, but Zabarny is well capable of dealing with that one. As it came back to him. And Evan Nielsen now back on the field and trying to make an impact there. Lovely turn by Paquetá. Kudus. Kudus' ball just a bit short. Nice interception by Kluivert. Now Kerkez off the left here for Bournemouth. Linking up with Ouattara. Has to go back to Huijsen. Now across to Zabarny. Straight through to Christie. Spins it out wide for Semenyo on the right hand side. Antoine Semenyo looking to take on his man in Wan-Bissaka. Just about kept the ball and tried to bounce it off Kudus to win the corner. And as he tried to win it back, as it didn't go out for a corner, he's given away a goal kick. Certainly a lot of flair in these two teams tonight. There's no shortage of players that have quality and have skill and are not. There's no shortage of them being confident enough to show it off. There's no shortage of that, no doubt, between these two teams. Ouattara. Now Huijsen. Zabarny. Bournemouth try and keep some sort of possession at the moment. Kudus. And down in the middle, but no foul, said the referee. Although he is now going to stop the game momentarily. Make sure Mohamed Kudus can get a bit of treatment or see what the issue really is. It doesn't seem too bad of an issue for Mohamed Kudus because he's just slowly getting back to his feet. So maybe a bit of play acting there from Kudus. And just see it again. He was certainly claiming for a free kick, but yeah, to be fair, Cook does go a bit unnecessarily in on a challenge on Kudus. certainly avoidable. Got little moments. Zabarni does well. Tries to lay it off, but the through ball is just a bit to no man's land, really. No Bournemouth player up there to try and keep the attack going, and it's given away. A few sloppy passes, a few sloppy moves in the last few minutes from both of these two teams. Lovely bit of skill though from Sofal to break away from his man, and now has space to blast down the right hand side. Sofal decides to chop infield. Now spins it out wide for Souček on the right. Souček with a cross, just a bit too much, as Kudus trying to measure that one and does keep it in play. Now Wan-Bissaka coming the other way, looks to whip it in, as falls to Souček, just wide. Oh my goodness me. Really good opportunity for West Ham that. See it again, it was Kudus. Kept the ball alive. Wan-Bissaka then came running right back at the Bournemouth defence. Got the early cross in. Huijsen fails to deal with it. And then it's Souček with a shot. Phased across from the right to the left, looking for the far corner. And it just bobbles its way past the post and behind. But again, really good attacking play. And West Ham now have a corner. That shot took a deflection. The delivery headed away by Christie, sorry, as Kudus wins it back again, keeping the pressure on Bournemouth. Wan-Bissaka. Soler looking for the cross. Again, well, cleared away by Bournemouth. Bit of attack v defence at the moment. West Ham, as I said, started to gain a bit more control. The game's ebbed and flowed throughout this first half, but I do think West Ham have been slightly the better of the two teams from what we've seen so far. Fabianski, as the game continues, but that long ball by Fabianski intercepted by Bournemouth again. Again, Evan Nielsen on the ground, but no foul yet initially, as the referee eventually gives the free kick for Bournemouth after a few little niggles. And I mean, what's that? Justin Kluivert was the one that went down, but I mean, from what I can see there, he just runs into the West Ham player. You're not going to get a foul for that. Long ball by Bournemouth, intercepted again by West Ham. Soler. Alvarez now out wide to Bowen. Back to Mavropanos, who will go long. Looking for Bowen, but just a bit overhit that one. And Kerkez can just usher that one back to his keeper in Kepa. 90 seconds to go in the first half, or the first 45 at least. And it is Bournemouth 0, West Ham 0. Both sides have had opportunities in this first half. More half chances than anything, to be honest. But overall, if they clean up their attack and output, clean up their shooting, there could be goals in this one. Certainly have had some big thrillers here over the years between these two. 5 goals, 6 goal, and some late goals as well. Here's Bowen trying to break into the box. Blocked by Cook. Couldn't get there was Kerkez, but nice interception by Christie to stride away with the ball now. Rolls it towards Ouattara, who can burst down the left-hand side. Dango Ouattara on the counter. Trying to spin it into the path of Kluivert, who does really well initially. Actually lays it off now to Semenyo on the far side. Semenyo now goes for the shot, deflected. Ouattara! What a save! Oh my goodness me, what a save by Fabianski. Bournemouth coming from left to right to right to left. West Ham having a clue what's going on. And Semenyo chops onto his left hand side, tries to strike it across goal. It takes a really wicked deflection into the path of Ouattara, who's free at the back post, and a clean shot at goal. And Andone Iraola is in disbelief as to how that didn't find the back of the net. But Fabianski, scrambling across, uses his feet to his advantage and clears it behind for the corner. Fabulous goalkeeping. It's Cook to deliver. Flicked across, back post. Shot well charged down. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half. And a first half that is ending with a flurry. Cook with a cross. Away at the back post that time by Paquetá as Kudus tries to be the out ball for West Ham. And he wins a free kick. West Ham have that free kick then. It kind of relays that little bit of pressure that they've come under in the last 2 minutes or so, or last minute or so. I mean, there's nothing in that. Some of the West Ham players are complaining that Dean Huijsen had just thrown the ball away, but six of one, half a dozen of the other, really. There's just nothing in that, to be honest. As that's a bit strange. West Ham won a throw in there. I think even the West Ham players are confused how that was a throw for them. It looked like it came off a West Ham defender, or a West Ham head there, and went out. West Ham get the throw. Sofal to take. 30 seconds to go in the half. Goes short to Paquetá. Wanted a foul through there to the Bournemouth fans, but Sofal's cross cleared away by Dean Huijsen. Sofal get another throw in. Takes it to Paquetá again, who curls it towards goal. Kepa there to clear it away. Bowen couldn't sustain the pressure. As Kluivert flicks it over the top, and Ouattara, poor heavy first touch, lets him down. The game just burst into life all of a sudden in the last few minutes, and that will curtail the first half, that heavy touch by Ouattara. And that is a blistering first half, to be truly honest with you. A first half where both sides could have had the lead. Both sides had come great chances. Reportedly the best chance of the half came right before the end of the half, when Dango Ouattara had a clean shot at goal, and Fabianski, with one of the great saves of the season, denying the Bournemouth man at 2 goals in 2. But at half-time, flurry of chances, flurry of shots, but no goals at the break. Bournemouth 0, West Ham United 0. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at the Vitality Stadium. It's Bournemouth 0, West Ham United 0 at the moment, and a flurry of chances as I spoke just before half-time. Lots of shots in that first half, lots of opportunities, but a lack of clinical finishing has let both teams down in that first half. Although, one thing that does go in our favour for this one to get goals tonight, in all of their meetings in the Premier League over the last almost 10 years, or in the last 9 and a bit years, since Bournemouth were first promoted, there has never been a 0-0 draw between these two. In all of their previous Premier League meetings, never a single draw. In their 14 previous meetings, there has been no 0-0 draws. So that bodes well for a second half for goals, because it's been a first half where both sides have had chances, both sides have had opportunities, both sides' attacks have been really on the kind of on the pressure tonight um, with it, but the lack of clinical finishing in the final third, and maybe having a few shots that are a bit wasteful at times, maybe letting down both attacks, and some big goalkeeping moments as well. I do want to bring it to that, because without the top quality goalkeeping saves that we've had, a couple of them, two or three of them in that first half, we would have some goals, but at half time we don't. To really bring you up to date with what the feeling is, by the way, I I don't want to take credit for anything from that first half, but what I do want to say is, for the last 5-7 minutes of that first half, I spent standing because I had spilt juice all down me. I'd spilt juice, and it had me a bit kind of fried before the end of that half. But the energy was transferred into what was a great flurry of chances before the end of the first half in that game. I spurred on, I carried on. I got through it. No one died, really, in the end of it, ultimately. But recapping the first half, to be honest with you, I think it wasn't a first half that you'd be writing home about. In a sense, I don't think there's been a lack of quality. I just think there's been a lack of clinical finishing. Now, overall, the quality could come down to, but you could say, both sides at this moment very well matched. Both defences at the moment are at a level where they can deal with the opponent's attack, and they're very well matched in this game of football. And I would say that's a fair assessment, because both sides have had chances, both attacks have looked really sprightly, really sparky tonight, but also at the same time, both defences being as resilient as they need to be in stopping the opponent finding the back of the net, and that's why we have a 0-0 scoreline at this moment in time. In that first half, I think that direct style of football, certainly early doors for Bournemouth, gave West Ham some early scares, but I think as the game went on, I think West Ham kind of adjusted to that, figured out a way of stopping that, winning the first ball, winning the second ball, and kind of stopped those long balls, those long attacks, those quick direct plays from Bournemouth actually working. And I think as West Ham adjusted to that, they became more dominant in the game, they gained a bit more control in the game, and they started to get their attacking players on the ball, started to possess the play a bit more, and actually started to kind of play their football a bit more, that possession based pass and move football. And it was at times really good to watch. A first half that, albeit 0-0, but quite entertaining, lots of chances, lots of opportunities in the game. We're just seeing a kind of compilation of them at the moment on the feed. Souček at the crossbar. Semenyo had one or two hit just wide. Souček's one that went wide for the corner towards the end of that first half. Ouattara's one is the one of the half, really, in my opinion. That shot that was saved by Lucas Fabianski. But overall, I think both teams had a lot of chances, and we have seen some crackers between these two before, a 3-3 back in the day, a 3-2, both coming at the Vitality quite a number of years ago. Since then, it's not been quite full of goals. There was a 2-2 back in 2019, but since then, there have been two occasions where both teams have scored since that point in the last 5 games, and they've both ended in 1-1 draws. The last time that both sides, as I said, scored more than once in this game, both of them, was in the 2-2 draw back in 2019. So there are certainly opportunities in the game for goals, but so far we're just not seeing the outcome on that so far. To be honest, if I had to really say who would be the happier of the two managers, I don't think either manager would be massively happy at half-time. I think Bournemouth would feel that maybe they kind of let the game get away from them at times in that first half. I think they lacked control, lacked kind of cohesiveness at times in and out of possession. I think if I look at the momentum, they had a fantastic first 15-20 minutes, but once West Ham started to deal with those long balls, those direct balls, Bournemouth kind of fizzled throughout that first half, and they kind of faded as the half went on. They had that little spell just before half time, but other than that, between the 20th minute and the 43rd minute, really West Ham were the better side, and I think maybe West Ham would feel a bit hard done by that they maybe didn't get the lead, maybe didn't have a goal to take from that, which I think maybe they will be saying, look, we were the better team, but we don't have anything to show for it at the moment. Maybe that could be a big negative that Julian Lopetegui would be saying to his team at half-time, but I don't think either side would be massively disappointed with the first half. They'll both want improvements, they'll both want additions, they'll both want better attacking play, they'll both want better play on the ball. Bournemouth might need to adjust a few things into trying to be a bit more controlled in the game, albeit they want to be more direct, and I think that chance for, if I'm not mistaken, was it Semenyo? It was, when he had that shot from the angle that just went wide. That epitomised the football that Bournemouth want to play. That 4 passes between the goalkeeper and then you having the shot from one end of the pitch to the other is exactly the way Bournemouth want to play. And if they want to measure that between possess the ball for a while, but also still continue with that direct style of when you're when you want to attack, you continue with that direct football, but at times just possess the ball just to keep the management of the game and keep control in the game, because when it comes end to end and keep very open, the game could go either way, and that's where it could get a bit concerning for Bournemouth. Whereas if they continue with that direct style, they can continue to control the game by possessing it a slight bit more and not being as direct as what they were on as many occasions as they were in that first half, and finding that balance between the two that can still get them a direct style of play, but also have that little bit more control in possession. For West Ham, they just need to be better at sustaining pressure. We talked, they had a lot of chances that were kind of came in moments in that first half. I don't think they had really a kind of 5-10 minute spell in that first half. And I mean, to be fair, neither team did, so kind of a bit picky on that front. But I think of West Ham, I feel if they're going to win this game, they kind of have to do it the way they did against Wolves at times, where they were the better side for long periods and sustained the possession, sustained the pressure, kept kind of closing in the opponent, not giving them a way out, and keep firing, keep offering, keep creating opportunities, and one will eventually come with the quality they have up the pitch that will go into the back of the net. I think that's where West Ham can try and possess the ball a bit more and kind of turn the screw a slight bit in the second half and maybe continue to kind of take control of this game. But other than that, I think both managers I wouldn't be too disappointed with the first half that they've seen from their respective teams so far. If we just give you a quick stats update before we go to a break, before the second half gets underway, that flew by, that half time. West Ham have had 56% possession in that first half to Bournemouth's 44. The XG is in West Ham's favour, 0.84 to Bournemouth's 0.69. 2 big chances for Bournemouth, none for West Ham, which pretty much sums it up. 9 shots apiece. Both goalkeepers have made 2 saves. Both have 2 shots on target. Both teams have 2 shots on target. West Ham with 4 corners, Bournemouth with 3 corners. West Ham with more passes and more tackles in the game. Bournemouth with more free kicks, and West Ham with the only yellow card of the first half, which saw Carlos Soler get a booking, his 5th of the season, which has him suspended for that game at home against Brighton next time out. Right, second half between Bournemouth and West Ham, which is 0-0 at the moment, but surely some goals in the second half, which is on the way very shortly. Do stay with us. welcome back to Premier League Live this Monday evening. Bournemouth 0, West Ham 0 in the Premier League. Second half to come in just a moment. Don't forget, though, later on this week we will have two huge quarter-finals in the Carabao Cup for you as we head to Southampton. That's spelt wrong. Didn't want to point that out. But at St Mary, Southampton take on Liverpool tomorrow, Wednesday, 8 o'clock here on LFS, followed by Tottenham against Manchester United. That's Thursday, 8 o'clock. There we go. Right, that's to come during the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated, and we thank each and every one of you for joining us this evening as we are on our road to 25,000 subscribers. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us this evening. Right, the second half almost ready to get underway as the players do their little jogging around the cones as they come out for the second half. And a second half where I feel that it's well within the grasp of either of these two teams to go on and win this. Become more clinical in the final third, and they can turn this from a draw into a pretty nice win if they can turn that screw a little bit more. Or we could have an absolute goal fest in the second half if they start hitting the back of the nets, which I would also be very welcomed at this moment in time. We love an entertaining game. There's been no shortage of those in the Premier League this season already. As the referee does his final checks before the second half. Of course, both sides kicking towards opposite ends. West Ham from right to left, Bournemouth from left to right in the second half as we look at it. And we get underway then with the second 45 at the Vitality, where Bournemouth at the moment will jump up to 6th in the table. But if they can score 3 goals without reply, or win by at least 3 goals this evening, they could go up to 5th, above the champions in the league table. Leapfrog the champions tonight, who they beat here in one of their big wins at home this season. West Ham can get themselves closer to that top half chase if they pick up the 3 points this evening. They won't move up a place no matter what happens tonight, West Ham. They will stay in 14th. But they win tonight, they will be a point behind United in 13th, and would just be, as I said, 6 points off 5th place Manchester City if they were to win. So a lot on the line for a win tonight as we edge closer to Christmas. Here is Kudus. Lovely turn across Zabarnyi, but good blocking by Christie. Steps in and wins it back. Semenyo. Bournemouth want a bit of an early injection into the second half. Semenyo across to Christie. Nice move into Kerkez. Milos Kerkez now out to Ouattara. He's got bodies in the box if he wants to hit one. Ouattara just wide. Thought he was going to edge up for the cross, but he stepped onto his right and decided to go for the shot. Caught me off guard there. And Ouattara just fizzed ever so wide of the goal. Not too far away. I think I might have hit Sofal on the way through as well. It did, so a corner will come here for Bournemouth. Tango Ouattara, who scored the last goal for Bournemouth. It's actually been involved in the last 2 goals for Bournemouth in the Premier League, and those 2 goals against Ipswich. Laid on Christie as the corner comes short. Cook into the box. Nice interchange of play as the shots from Cleverts straight down the throat of the keeper. Very intricate play from a corner. I've not seen that before. Then playing it into the box and then out of the box to the edge for the shot. Very intricate. Straight off the training ground, that type of free kick, or that type of corner. In the end, Kluivert's shot was straight down the throat of Fabianski. So no real test for the West Ham keeper there. But a good start to the second half for the home team, who started the first half in a similar vein. Just hoping this time, Andoni Iraola, that they can find something with this early pressure. Try and find that opening goal. Although here's Bowen. Try to flick it in behind for Kudus, but cleared away by Zabarnyi. Not fully cleared though. There's Soler there battling with Ouattara, and Ouattara did well to hold it off to Evan Nielsen. Now Christie. Now into Lewis Cook. Bournemouth on the move again. Down the left hand side it comes now with Semenyo, who switched across to that side. Semenyo freed him into the box, and the shot straight down the throat of Fabianski again. Better though from Bournemouth. Much more zip and quality in the final third. Lovely. Semenyo not afraid to switch sides either, and kind of dribbled his way through a few players, got into the box and took the strike from the angle, trying to curl it towards the far corner again, but ended up not getting the curl on the ball and went straight towards Fabianski. Again, early shots for Bournemouth in the start of this second half. Soler. Mavropanos. Here's Lucas Paquetá. Hounded by Milos Kerkez. He faces his own goal there, Paquetá, and has to go back to his centre-back in Mavropanos. Now Fabianski hooks it long. Header won by Zabarny. Second by Souček and Ouattara. First time ball into Kluivert. Now Evan Nielsen. Lovely play by Bournemouth. Kluivert to Semenyo. On the left, wanted to drive infield this time. Semenyo almost lost his footing there, but did well to recover. Spun around the corner. Nice link up with Evan Nielsen as it comes back to Christie, whose shot is is pushed over the bar by Fabianski. Much more fluid by Bournemouth, using their forward players to manoeuvre the West Ham defence to create shooting opportunities in and around the edge of the box. Fabulous play again by Bournemouth. And they're starting to knock on the door now, early in this second half. As Christie, who had the shot that created the corner, will take the corner. Left-footed delivery. Flicked on. Still alive at the back post as it's cleared away by West Ham. As Kudus absolutely tearing up the grass there as he tried to speed forward. Kepa did well. No pressure on him as the ball comes through. But Fabianski was quick and alert to gather that one. As he slipped and trying to get the ball forward, and there's a foul by Kudus on Milos Kerkez. Free kick to Bournemouth. Zabarny, lovely ball into Smith. Moving the ball a lot nicer now, Bournemouth. Semenyo, nice overlap by Smith down the right hand side. Smith with the early cross, bit looping, but it looped over the bar and behind for a goal kick. Just a bit too much on that cross. Didn't curl back in towards the 18-yard box, just kind of sliced it really, did Adam Smith on that cross, and it was always going over the bar. Already in the second half, Bournemouth have had 4 shots, 3 on target, 5 touches in the opposition box, and West Ham all zeros. No shots on target, and no touches in the opponent's box early in this second half. So coming out with a fire underneath them. Certainly with a lot of energy and intensity again are Bournemouth. And they win that ball back again quite quickly from that long ball. Here's Kerkez. To say they have adjusted, Bournemouth, between first half and second half. First half, I mean, they've still continued with that direct style, but a different way of being direct. In a sense, you know, people think of direct style, they think long ball up the field, kind of route one football, straight up to the centre forward who can hold it up and allow his players to kind of move in and around him. But they've done it in a different way. Directness is all about speed from back to front, not about direction in the way that you move the ball from back to front. It's how quickly you move it. And Bournemouth have continued to be very direct, but did it in a different way at the start of the second half. They've been moving much more intricate play, 1-2 touch, pass and move football, and kind of forward runners in those areas, and that's really helping them in getting the ball from back to front. Here's Semenyo. Christie in behind, finds Kluivert. Kluivert chips it across. Well defended in there by Souček, who cleared it away. But again, much better from Bournemouth. Just seems like it's all clicked as the throw in. Zabarny with a cross. Headed away as Zabarny picks it back up again and wins his battle. Christie helping out there as the ball over the top by Zabarny. Couldn't find Evan Nielsen, as that's broken apart by Kilman, who will fizz that one forward into Bowen, who takes the chests the ball down, keeps West Ham in possession with Sofal. Nice check, who tried to chip it over the top, but no West Ham player in the vicinity there. Soucek's ball. Clivert won his header there. Edson Alvarez with a strange clearance attempt. Goes out for the Bournemouth throw. Just feel like Bournemouth have the bit between their teeth at the moment. There's a little bit of extra energy in the team at the moment. I just feel if they get a goal here, this could really be turn from a good start to the half to a very good start to the half. Semenyo to Smith. Now Christie. Really nice movement again. Nice one touch with Cook. Christie saw a shooting opportunity and took it. Probably should have decided against that. Should Ryan Christie, apologies, because that one went well wide. West Ham readying subs already. Nicholas Fulkrug is the one that is readying himself on the sidelines. So West Ham trying to target a very physical centre forward. And Nicholas Fulkrug up there. Julian Lopetegui feeling the wrath of Bournemouth early on, that pressure on his team early doors, and hopefully from his point of view that change that he's about to make with Fulkrug could swing it back in West Ham's favour, the momentum slightly. 10 minutes gone of the second half, still 0-0, but Bournemouth without a doubt have been the better side in the start of the second half. Cook moving it quickly, lovely flick by Evan Nielsen. Here's Clivert, 4-on-3 here for Bournemouth as the ball across from Ouattara, and Semenyo has the shot well defended by Max Kilman. All four of Bournemouth's forward players involved. It was Cook found it to Evan Nielsen, who flicked it to Clivert. He played it out to Ouattara on the left, and Ouattara spotted Semenyo free on the far side, just rolled it across the 18-yard box, and Semenyo hit it with his right, tried to find the far corner, and Max Kilman came throwing himself at the ball, puts it behind for the corner. Well, Carlos Soler is coming off, and Nicholas Fulkrug is coming on for West Ham here. It's not often you see teams mix ups when they're defending a corner. It's almost like an unwritten rule, you just don't do it in football, but maybe an extra bit of height in there could help West Ham defensively on this one. Let's see what they can do. We'll see what Bournemouth can do attacking wise. How West Ham will defend this situation. Christie to deliver. Left footed. A lot of whip on that one. Fulkrug did head it away. Kept alive by Clivert though. Back for Christie. He will chip it to the back post, and it's headed across and wide by Elia Zabarny for a goal kick. It was good play. Good play by Bournemouth. Ultimately not ending in the goal they were probably targeting there, of course. But you can see, if you look at the stats on that right hand side of your screen, those red bars starting to appear a bit more on the left hand side of your screen, or on the left hand side of those kind of graphs, which shows that Bournemouth are having more shots, having more attempts, maybe starting to take a bit more control of this match. Smith absolutely thumped that one long. It's a bit too long. It was recovered by Sofal and got it back to Fabianski. There's a good noise inside the Vitality under the lights here this Monday evening. Certainly a lot of energy in this team, and a lot of energy inside this stadium. Actually, not a pretty huge stadium is the Vitality. A capacity of just 11,700 They're the lowest in the Premier League. Certainly not lacking in energy or anticipation tonight, as they wanted a foul there, but referee waved it away for Bournemouth, as again they win it back. I said how West Ham had actually gained a bit more control in the game by winning those first balls and the second balls from those kind of aerial duels, and in the second half it swung completely the opposite direction. Bournemouth have been winning those first and second balls time and time again, and it's just not allowing West Ham to create attacking opportunities, because instantly, as Bournemouth, either they're kicking it long or the opponent, or either West Ham's kicking it long, and with Bournemouth winning those balls time and time again, it doesn't matter what situation they're in, they're always trying to drive forward, and that's what's driven this real flurry of positivity in the first 13 minutes of the second half. We'll have this long throw to defend at the moment. That's what Tara does, clear it away, although it's spun back in by Sofal for the cross, kept alive by Paquetá. Here's Fulkrug, laid it off now to Alvarez, out wide to Sofal again, who will cross it in again. Fulkrug, who tried to go for the overhead kick, but that was not the angle to take it from there. Goal kick. Well, that substitution for West Ham, Carlos Soler going off for Nicholas Fulkrug. Fulkrug, of course, joining West Ham, the 31-year-old, for £22.5 million in August. Joined from Borussia Dortmund, who he joined only a summer earlier, to the German side from Werder Bremen. Actually has spent all of his career in Germany up until this move to West Ham. All of his clubs were located in Deutschland. Before this, Nicholas Fulkrug, which is his home country. West Ham, his first foreign venture. Here is Wan-Bissaka. Nice move from West Ham. Paquetá cuts it back to the edge. Bowen misses his kick, and Fulkrug tried to help him out for a second chance, but Bowen was on the floor and couldn't make the most of any of that. Here's Semenyo for Bournemouth. Looking for the switch. Beat past Sofal, who stretched for that one but couldn't reach it. And now Ouattara goes for the early cross into the box. Just a bit bobbling as it came out to Semenyo on the right hand side again. Bournemouth keeping the attack moving. Semenyo with a cross into the box again. As Mavropanos got the last touch on that one. Will be a Bournemouth corner. You just feel a goal is not too far away here. Bournemouth continue to apply this pressure. You just feel the inevitable of a goal is inevitable at this rate. And they never had this type of control, even in those early moments of the first half. They never had this type of pressure on the West Ham defence. As the corner whipped in, flicked on by Souček, and Christie fired across, but not much pressure as Kudus sprays away. Here he comes, Mohamed Kudus. Body's back for Bournemouth though. He's on his own at the moment as he's isolated out there in the left flank, but Kudus tried his best to keep it alive, but when there's no one running forward for West Ham, he's in a losing battle there. And as Semenyo tried to break forward, he was absolutely taken out by Edson Alvarez, who gets a yellow card. It's Edson Alvarez's fourth yellow card of the season, so he has to be very careful. We're only a few games away from that threshold. Once we hit the halfway points, once you hit 19 games in the season, the yellow card threshold for a match ban goes up to 10 yellow cards. But it's still at 5 for the next couple of games. So a few players certainly teetering on the edge, and we've already seen Carlos Soler booked tonight receive his 5th yellow card of the season, which has him suspended for that Brighton game on Saturday for West Ham. Kepa goes long. Kluivert trying to throw himself at that one, but West Ham come away with the ball. Bowen, Fulkrug, now Kudus has to go back to Kilman. Now into Alvarez. 27 minutes plus the additional time to go, so lots of time left for anything to still happen. And Smith with a strange moment there. I think he even said it was a handball. The referee didn't. And now West Ham try to squeeze it through there with Paquetá as Bournemouth come away with it. 3-on-3 now. Kluivert, Ouattara down the left hand side. Ouattara tried to beat past Mavropanos, but the centre back of West Ham comes out the better in that battle. Nice interchange of play between Fulkrug and Paquetá there, but Bowen couldn't keep the ball. Now Christie, the game's opening up again all of a sudden, because here's Ouattara again. But the flag's gone up against Dango Ouattara there. I was wondering why the game stopped all of a sudden. That was why. Because we had only our second offside of the night there. Ilya Zabarnyi is still down here for Bournemouth. I said Bowen failed to keep the ball a bit earlier on. It was Zabarnyi that made the challenge, and I think Bowen kind of caught him on the follow-through and trying to keep the ball. Nothing serious, hopefully anyway. Doesn't look to be serious. Bournemouth have already lost a big centre-back in Marcus Senesi, who's in the crowd tonight, up in the stands. They certainly don't want to lose another key centre-back in Ilya Zabarnyi. I think Bournemouth are going to make some changes here. Looks like it's going to be David Brooks and Tyler Adams that are the ones readying themselves in the sidelines. So some changes for Bournemouth incoming, but Zabarnyi is up on his feet again, which is a good sign for those Bournemouth fans. Lovely flick down the left hand side from Bournemouth, but again nicely broken up by West Ham. Paquetá just about keeps the ball. Back with Edson Alvarez, who's dropped in alongside the two centre backs in a back three now. Look at that run from Mavropanos. Did well Bowen to evade the challenge, but again Bournemouth winning those headers and winning the ball back. Kepa into the midfield. Oh, that's a poor pass though, given away by Christie. And now Kudus breaking into the space. Bournemouth got lots of bodies back, so Kudus really couldn't do much damage there. Really cheap giveaway by Christie in the midfield. Just a poor pass to no one. West Ham riding the challenges here as Sofal breaks forward. Now out to the right hand side is Bowen. Bowen looking for the cross, as Smith wasn't too sure what was behind him and just heads that one behind for the corner. I think he could have took a touch there, but in the situation you never know what's behind you, and Adam Smith wasn't too sure on that occasion, so he just decided to put it behind for the West Ham corner and take no risks whatsoever. It's West Ham's fifth corner of the game. Bournemouth have had 7 corners, so 12 in total. My math's not adding up there. Paquetá with the corner, whipped in, up in the air was Bowen, but again Bournemouth come away with it as Evan Nielsen felt he was fouled, and the referee does blow the whistle to give a free kick to the home side, as Paquetá tried to win it back, but committing a foul in doing so. Looking at it again, it did look a bit soft on Evan Nielsen there, to be fair. Subs coming then for Bournemouth. They have the most goals by subs this season, the most assists by substitutes, the most shots by substitutes in the Premier League this season, and the most scoring substitutes individually. And they're going to bring on 2 substitutes here this evening. Antoine Semenyo and Adam Smith are going to be the 2 making way, and David Brooks and Tyler Adams are going to be coming on in their places. So we'll see how this kind of makes a change in the shape of Bournemouth, because they're bringing on a midfielder for a defender and then a straight swap up front. Brooks, I think, will just swap in for Semenyo like for like in terms of positionally. We'll see what effect these 2 subs will have for Bournemouth. Dango Ouattara and Enes Unal, the two subs last week in that 2-1 comeback win over Ipswich. They've not got a deficit at this stage to overturn, but they do have some goal scoring they need to do if they want to win this one, Bournemouth. There's more than enough time to do it, 22 minutes plus the additional time. Here's Kepa to take this long kick. Won by Mavropanos. Second ball brought down by Kudus. Plays it down the left-hand side for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Chance for West Ham to attack here. Wan-Bissaka off the left. Try to roll it back to Kudus, who tried to cross it, but well blocked out there by Lewis Cook, who steps in to win it back, but instantly won back by Kilman. And lovely feat by Wan-Bissaka to spin away from his man, and now Kudus breaking away, but again run out of room as Brooks tried to pass it forward but gives it straight back to West Ham. Here's Alvarez, will hit one. I think it might have took a deflection on the way through. West Ham corner. All of a sudden West Ham are getting back into the game. Poor ball by David Brooks. Kluivert was already on his bike and Brooks just tried to roll it towards him, and Kluivert had no idea where the ball was coming, whether it was coming or not, and decided to go on a run. Corner for West Ham then. Paquetá to deliver. Left footed into the box it comes, and the header is flicked wide by Konstantinos Mavropanos. Goal kick. Just about 20 to go. And the vitality. I said at half-time there's never been a 0-0 draw between these two in the Premier League in their 14 previous meetings. We're only 20 minutes away from that being the case for the very first time. And they do say there's records are there to be broken, and there's a first time for everything, two of the most cliche phrases in the world, but they could come true this evening if neither side find the back of the nets. But Christie, what a ball in behind. Lots of running for here as Ouattara put pressure on Sofal, who did well to put it out of play for a throw. That ball from Christie caused all sorts of concern instantly there as Kluivert and Kerkez link up, and the ball in. Headed away by Mavropanos, not fully clear though as Kudus tried to help out defensively, but Cook keeps the ball on the move. Now Brooks, David Brooks to the edge of the box for Christie. He will reverse it into Evan Nielsen, who will have his shot charged down in the box and then get the ball hooked away by West Ham. Good header by Hoosen. Cook gives it away. Kudus battling with Adams, who's fresher onto the pitch, but again West Ham win the ball back. Ball into Mohamed Kudus. Well charged down. Fabulously charged down by Zabarnyi. And Kepa comes and gathers. Goodness me, the chances galore. Challenges flying in here, there and everywhere. And Kudus got a bit of freedom there as he arrived into the box and well closed down. End to end again. Here's Brooks. Kluivert rolls it on for Kerkez on the overlap. Right there with his opposite fullback in Sofal, and Kerkez wins Bournemouth a throw as he takes quickly. Kluivert back to Hoosen into Adams. Now down the left hand side, Kerkez with a cross, bit much as Ouattara leaves it for Cook to recover on the right wing. Cook with a cross blocked by Wan-Bissaka. Corner for Bournemouth. Have to say this has been one of the most entertaining end-to-end games so far this season. 29 shots between them in the last 72.5 minutes. 16 for Bournemouth, 13 for West Ham, but no goals as of yet. More subs are readying themselves on the bench, but Christie to deliver here for Bournemouth. Flicked onto the front post, what a save. Great save by Fabianski. Christie's flick on, or kind of cross, flicked on at the near post by Evan Nielsen. And a great save by Fabianski. tips it over for another. Christie to deliver again. Away by Suchek. As that was cushioned by Adams. Back into Christie's path now. Brooks tried to measure up for the shot, but tracked all the way. And Brooks tried to curl it, but just too high and wide there from David Brooks. Goal kick. So some more substitutes coming. Another double substitution here for West Ham. Crescencio Somerville is going to be one of those coming on, and the other, I think, might be a young player, because I've never seen his face before. No offence to him. I've seen Crescencio Somerville's face before. I know his face. That sub is going to be, so Somerville coming on, and Edson Alvarez is coming off. He's not particularly happy with coming off, Edson Alvarez there. Second substitution for West Ham is going to see Mohamed Kudus come off, and he's going to be replaced by Oliver Scarles. Oliver Scarles, a 19-year-old English left midfielder, is his traditional playing position. He's in the under-21 squad for West Ham. And that will be his first taste of Premier League action this season for the teenager. He has played in the Europa Conference League a few seasons ago, but this will be his first Premier League test in his career. So Oliver Scarles, applauded by the West Ham crowd as he comes onto the field. With around 15 minutes or so to go, West Ham with work to do. Both teams with work to do if they want to win it here on the South Coast. Zabarny trying to thump it in behind again, but West Ham's clearance goes out for a Bournemouth throw. Well, we know Bournemouth love to leave it late. 95th minute winner away at Ipswich. That unbelievable comeback from 2-0 down away at Everton a lot earlier in the season, so they are accustomed to a few late bits of drama to win them games of football this season. Howson down to the left hand side. Kerkez infield to Adams. Back to Dean Howson, who was the difference 11 days ago when they beat Tottenham here 1-0. Did Bournemouth, as that was a bit of a shoulder-to-shoulder challenge between Mavropanos and Evan Nielsen. Referee saw no issue. Bournemouth fans certainly claiming for a possible penalty, but looking on balance, there's no real foul in there, to be honest. I don't think there was many claims from the Bournemouth players. So West Ham give it away cheaply again with a switch ball. Ouattara tried to measure himself up against Sofal, but couldn't keep it in play. Throw in. To see this again, yeah, there's nothing in this for me. Just both got a grab of each other, Evan Nielsen and Mavropanos there, and shoulder to shoulder. Nothing really in it. Adams. Nice link up with Ouattara as Brooks tried to retrieve the ball, but taken down there. Free kick to Bournemouth. Just inside West Ham's half. And West Ham have made a couple of subs in the last few minutes. Bournemouth are going to follow suit. Looks like Philip Billing is one of those getting ready on the sidelines for Bournemouth. So some more midfield options. More of an attacking midfielder is Philip Billing. We'll see what his impact will be when he enters the fray shortly. As they switch the ball out to David Brooks on the right hand side. Got bodies in white up against Kluivert. Cook tried to feed it through. Kluivert has made the run into the box and cuts it across. It's cleared away well by Thomas Souček. I think it's young Scarles that's gone out there to play left back for West Ham at the minute. He was the one up against David Brooks. So he wasn't involved in really the whole moment there, but he is playing left back at the moment, the 19-year-old. Kerkez tried to cross, well blocked. Bounces back out to Adams, who gets it back to Kerkez. Now Adams again. Second half has had its moments as well. Bournemouth started the better. West Ham probably had the better of the middle section of the second half. That little 10-minute spell, but Seems like Bournemouth maybe just turning the screw a slight bit more as we edge closer to the end of this game. Kluivert trying to thread it through for Evan Nielsen. Adams maybe there to try and pick up a few scraps, but Wan-Bissaka there to clear it away. And the pressure from Bournemouth gets an applause from the home crowd. Here's Kluivert again. Back to Zabarnyi on the halfway line. It's the furthest back outfield player for Bournemouth. Here's Howson. Christie. Oh, heavy touch by Christie, but he recovered it off Fulkrug there. Did well. Kluivert. Space, and he will shoot! Kluivert over the bar. Not too far over the bar. It had Fabianski stretching for it, but just saw the space open up, Justin Kluivert, and no one trying to close him down, and he just decided to hit one. Not a bad opportunity in the end. As changes of foot here for Bournemouth then. Enes Unal is going to be coming on for Evan Nielsen, and Justin Kluivert is going to make way for Philip Billing. So Kluivert's last action of the game was putting the ball over the bar. Enes Unal, who actually scored the equaliser against Ipswich last week, set up by Dango Ouattara. And Philip Billing, who comes on as well alongside him in that double change. The 28-year-old has been here since 2019, since joining from Huddersfield. The Dane. He would love to get involved as well. No goals this season. Hasn't started any of his appearances in the Premier League so far this season. Has made 5 appearances. Hasn't started any of those games. Has been a sub in all of them, and has played a total of 68 minutes in the Premier League this season. And we'll get around about another 12 to add to that. Here is Philip Billing. Tries to flick it over the top. Does well to find Ouattara. Ouattara to Philip Billing. Shot well blocked. Keeps it alive though. Christie, edge of the box. Ryan Christie. Good save by Fabianski. Still alive. Brooks tried to cross it. Christie again. And that will deflect behind for a corner, I believe. Well, burst into life did Bournemouth there. Billing just flicked it out to Ouattara. Billing, no one tracking him as he runs into the box. He has a shot charged down. He then keeps it alive to find Christie, who has his shot from the edge of the box saved by Fabianski. He parries it to Brooks, who tries to cross it, and then bounces back out to Christie, who has his second shot deflected behind for the corner. What a good few moments that was for Bournemouth. A couple of good opportunities, but again, as we've seen all night, none of them finding the back of the net. Now they have a corner. Left hand side. Left footed delivery. Comes to the edge of the box. Adams. Not a great touch. Keeps it alive though as Cook spins it out to the left hand side again. The cross from Kerkez takes a little deflection. And Paquetá trying to get West Ham away from their own box there, as Somerville did well at measuring that one. And Adams puts it out for a West Ham throw. Bournemouth have the most goals from the 81st minute onward in the Premier League this season. 8. No side has more goals than Bournemouth from this period to the end of a game than the Cherries. Adams wins the first header. Billing takes it down but couldn't keep the possession as it's played into Somerville down the left hand side here for West Ham. Somerville went down under a little tug by Adams, but the referee sees no foul in it, and Bournemouth have the ball back as they chip it forward. As a push on Enes Unal, no foul. I think the last touch maybe. See this again on Somerville. Yeah, there's nothing in that. Good decision by the referee, to be fair. A little tug, but very little. What I mean by little is minimal contact there between the two players, but that's a nice turn and take by Wan-Bissaka, who crosses it in. Fulkrug, great save, cleared away, still alive. Scarles into the box he comes, turns around, gives it to Paquetá and try to feed it through for Somerville, but not on the same page. Oh my goodness me. Bournemouth had a flurry of chances at one end, and West Ham just had 1 or 2 at this end. Great cross by Wan-Bissaka. I think I might have hit a hand on the way through. Fulkrug diving towards it, throws his head at the ball, and a great save by Kepa. I said there might have been a hand hit on the way through. I think VAR are checking for that at the moment, and if I'm clearly looking at it here, I think this is handball. If it touches his hand here, see this again. Oh, does it touch his hand? Maybe slightly. Ever so slightly. Tyler Adams, but his arm is in the air. It's away from his body. I think this might be a penalty. And the referee will be called to the screen here. And I think this might be a penalty for West Ham United. Well, Tyler Adams may not be the super sub that Bournemouth might have hoped he would have been. He might be the horror sub that could give away a penalty with 6 minutes to go here. See it again. Wan-Bissaka with a cross, and Adams just kind of uses his hand to get his balance, but as he puts his hands in the air, the ball comes in and it just takes a little nick off his hand. I think this would be harsh, but I think he's going to give it because of why he's been recommended to go to the screen. But he's having a few looks at it here, Chris Kavanagh. But I think they will give a penalty. There's little... To me, I can't guarantee that it's hit his hand. You can't clearly see a change in direction because of the way the ball spins. And the referee, though, has come away from the screen and has given West Ham a penalty. A few looks at it, and he walks away and points to the spot, does the referee. To me, that looks minimal. Minimal. But the referee deemed to have hit the hand of Tyler Adams from what he saw, and a penalty has been given. A penalty that could be crucial. Both sides have had absolute hatful of chances tonight. 38 shots between them. But it could be just one more shot that could change the dynamics of this game, with 4.5 minutes plus the additional time to go. Nicholas Fulkrug has the ball under his arm at the moment. Bowen kind of gatekeeping the penalty spot, but Fulkrug's not going to take it. Lucas Paqueta's taken the ball off him, and he's readying around the penalty spot. So Souček's lurking as Kepa just steps away now. Paqueta, 4 previous penalties in the Premier League, and he scored all 4 of them. Can he keep that 100% record from the spot? Lucas Paqueta into the side tonight, off the bench from last week to make an impact for the Hammers. Could this be the biggest of all impacts? Lucas Paqueta. Stepping up, takes a little run and rolls it into the bottom corner. Lucas Paqueta gives West Ham United the ever-fated lead. They have been pushing for, both teams desperately pushing for a goal all night, but it is a set piece, a penalty that breaks the deadlock on the South Coast. That run of no 0-0 draws between these two will continue. 15 games, and West Ham United, who for at times tonight have been second best, especially in this second half. But when you get a penalty, and when you have a man so ruthless as Lucas Paqueta from the spots, stepping up and you give him a chance, more often than not he's going to score it. And West Ham take the lead with minutes remaining. It's not over, but West Ham are one step closer to a huge 3 points on the road and back-to-back wins for the first time in a long time. Bournemouth 0, West Ham 1. It would actually be, if West Ham are to hold on and get this win, it would be the first time this season that they have won back-to-back Premier League games. They've won back-to-back games, but one in the league and one in the cup back in August, but they haven't won back-to-back league games this season. If they win tonight, they would do that for the first this season. But you would never rule out something else happening late here. This is Bournemouth we're talking about. They were 1-0 down when it came to right about the 87th minute last weekend and ended up winning 2-1. Never rule them out. As Mavropanos gives away a free kick there on Enes Ünal, in and around the edge of the box there. It's around about 24 yards out, 25 yards out. This game stepping into midfield there, Mavropanos. No real need. And a bit of a silly, naive challenge on Enes Ünal, which sets up a free kick now for Bournemouth. And this would be the 40th shot of the game. This free kick. Quite remarkable. Enes Ünal, who won the free kick, is going to take it. Very central. And about 25 yards or so out here for the Bournemouth centre forward. Actually, a bit further out, actually, apologies. 27 or so, 28 yards out. Ünal steps up and scores! Oh my goodness me, what a goal! What a response from Bournemouth! I told you, don't count them out. They love late goals, they love late drama. And what a way to score an equaliser for the second week running. Enes Ünal levels the game. As he did against Ipswich, he does against West Ham. Bournemouth 1, West Ham 1. What a goal by Enes Ünal. Fabulous. I said it was a naive free kick to give away from Mavropanos, and now he will be enemy number 1 for West Ham. What a goal. Full stretch Fabianski, nowhere near it. Absolute peach of a finish. 1-1. We should start playing Bournemouth games at about the 85th minute. It's not over yet though. West Ham was trying to bounce back right away. Still going, no foul as there's players on the floor. This game's gone into chaos, as well of 8 added minutes. Billing trying to get Bournemouth forward. As that one goes out of play for a West Ham throw. Wow. Just wow. Crazy. We had a late comeback in the Manchester derby yesterday. And it looks like we might have some more late drama here to end the Premier League weekend, as Bournemouth love to do. They love to do it. It's part of their philosophy now, scoring late goals, Bournemouth. All of their last 3 goals in the Premier League have come in the 87th minute or later. That is now the 9th goal they've scored past the 81st minute in the league this season. Absolutely unbelievable. Ouattara. Nice ball over the top. Christie on the run. Down the left-hand side comes Kerkez. There's bounce in this stadium yet, as Kerkez's ball finds Ouattara, who knocks it off so foul and gets a corner. The crowd roaring in response. They feel it. They can do it again. There's no way, surely. Well, they don't just have the most goals after 80 minutes. They've the most goals in added time as well, Bournemouth. 5 goals past the 90-minute mark this season. The 95th minute winner last week. Into the 93rd minute of 8 added here this week. Corner, delivered in. Headed on by Adams. Headed away by Fulkrug. And Brooks tried to measure one, but over the bar. Well, Enes Ünal has now scored 2 and 2. His only 2 Premier League goals this season have come in the last 2 games. And 2 incredibly important ones, it seems, for Bournemouth at this moment in time. Is there a winner in this one tonight? And Scarles can only put that one out for a Bournemouth throw. 5 minutes of the 8 to go. Zabarnyi, just about got that one out of his feet there as Fulkrug was on the press. Cleared away as Unal tried to flick it on, but no one beyond him. Oh, terrible from West Ham. Unal! Shot charged down by Kilman. It's Kilman, he hit it into his own defender. Watara now whips the cross in, away by Kilman. Bournemouth keep the pressure on. There's the pressure starting to be felt by West Ham. An unforced error almost cost them. You just feel it. There's this energy inside this stadium. They feel they can go on and win this. And why wouldn't they feel it? They've done it multiple times this season. They've left it late to win games. As again, West Ham slip up in the final third. Cook comes striding away with the ball. Scarles does well against Brooks to break it up, but Bournemouth keep the possession with Ryan Christie. Breaks down the right hand side. Christie taken down there by his opposite number in Lucas Paquetá, and a free kick for Bournemouth. The last free kick ended up into the back of the nets. This one further onto the right hand side, and more of a crossing opportunity rather than a shooting opportunity from a free kick from this angle. As West Ham are going to make another change here. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is coming off, and another youngster, Keelan Casey, is coming on. The 20-year-old Englishman. As the free kick taken quickly, Brooks delivered straight into the hands of Fabianski. 3 minutes to go. Nice touch by Billing from the kick by Fabianski. Billing, what a ball. Brooks into the box now. Tries to cross it. Unal was there, but Mavropanos sends it over the bar. Corner to Bournemouth. Unbelievable. The amount of pressure that Bournemouth put on West Ham, even when they kicked the ball away. Great recovery by Billing, and then a first time ball in behind. Takes no second guessing it. Knows there's going to be a runner. Plays it pinpoint perfect onto his feet. And he keeps the pressure on and gets Bournemouth a corner. Really good. Christie's delivery. Deep to the back post. Headed away. Not fully cleared as Kirkes had the shot blocked. Still alive. 2 minutes or so to go. Cook to hook one up. Headed away by Kilman. Billing takes it around Paquetá, and Adams shoots. Bit of a deflection as it cleared away. Christie though gets it to Zabarnyi. Bit over the head of Brooks. As that clearance is well by Scarles, and Somerville under pressure, but send it back to Kilman, who can clear long. Cook won the first header, brought down by Bowen, who we've not heard very much from recently. Here's Somerville. Now Paquetá, but again a wasted pass as no one made the run, and Bournemouth almost instantly trying to break away again, but West Ham win it back again. Bowen. Now Paquetá, down the left is Scarles. 90 seconds to go. Oliver Scarles with a cross. Still alive is Sofal. Shot blocked. Kirkes on the chase and does hook it clear for the throw. There's chances both ends in these late stages. I'll give you the full tally of shots when the game concludes, and we will round up the Premier League weekend and look at the table and how it stands after 16 games tonight. So don't leave us at the final whistle. We'll recap the weekend and give you a look ahead to what's coming up. West Ham with a long throw. Into the box it goes! And Kepa got a strong hand to it. Is there one last chance for Bournemouth on the break here? Brooks takes it in his stride. 40 seconds on the clock. Brooks tries to step across, does get a past Somerville. Brooks now lays it off to Kirkes. Now on the outside is Watara, whose shot is flashed right at Fabianski, who holds on with great grip to that football. And with 20 seconds to go of the 8 added, looks like that might have been the last chance of the game. Unless you never know. Long ball over the top here. Oh, Zabarni did really well there. Cook, they haven't given up yet, Bournemouth. 8 minutes are up, but the referee's still playing for the moment. Huyson into Christie. They believe it, the fans. Unal just took that away from Brooks, really. That through ball. Still alive, still going. The referee not wanting to blow up yet as Zabarni had the last kick, and that is the full-time whistle. A hard-fought, hard-battled draw on the south coast between these two. Many's a time they got in front of goal, but not many's a time they put the ball into the back of the net. In the end, who'd have thought it? It would be 2 set pieces that would be the goals in this one. West Ham with a penalty in the 86th minute from a handball from Tyler Adams, converted for the 5th time in the 5th time of asking for Lucas Paquetá from the spot. He gave West Ham the lead, but Enes Unal seemingly had the final say for Bournemouth, who shot from around 27 yards from a free kick. A real peach of an effort to level the game just minutes after. They both had chances to win it in the end, but in the end, probably the even and the fair result is a draw. Final score at the Vitality Stadium: Bournemouth 1, West Ham United 1. Wow, what a game, what a result. I said it, Bournemouth love late goals. Whether they concede them or score them, they love late goals in their games. And once again, we saw a late display of action from both of these two teams. 2 set pieces that got them for the 3rd successive 1-1 draw. Between these two, they drew both games last season 1-1, and they've drawn the first meeting of this season 1-1. Let's round up the weekend then and look at the table before we leave you tonight. Everton held Arsenal to a 0-0 draw at the Emirates. Liverpool, with 10, clawed their way back twice against Fulham to get a 2-2 draw at Anfield. A 4-0 victory for Newcastle, much needed victory for them under Eddie Howe, and Leicester falling to that thumping defeat under Ruud van Nistelrooy. Wolves sacked their manager after they went 2-1 down and lost at home to Ipswich on Saturday afternoon. Forest got a big win, a comeback win against Aston Villa late at the City Ground to make it 2-1 on Saturday evening. Brighton then were beaten in that rivalry against Crystal Palace on the South Coast yesterday by 3-1. It was a comeback win for United in the derby as City collapsed late on to win. United to win 2-1 in that one. Chelsea won 2-1 away at home to Brentford, and a 5-0 thumping for Spurs away at Southampton. And finally tonight, it was Bournemouth and West Ham that shared the spoils here on the South Coast. So, the table, after 16 games, looks just like this. If we show you the top half then, first and foremost, we'll show you the team, the home team from tonight's game in Bournemouth. And they are up into 6th, that should say. There we are. An updated version. Liverpool still lead the way. Only 2 points though. And look at that run from Chelsea. 5 wins in a row are just on the coattails of Liverpool, but they have a game in hand to the league leaders. Arsenal in 3rd on 30 points, a bit further back. Forest in the top 4 on 28 points. Their joint best start to a Premier League season in their history. City in 5th on 27 points. Bournemouth up to 6th on 25, Villa on 25, Fulham on 24, Brighton on 24 in 9th, and then Tottenham make up the top half in on 23 points. To the bottom half, Brentford make up the numbers alongside Newcastle, both on 23 points. Manchester United with a big win went to 22 yesterday. West Ham could have closed the gap, but they just closed the gap to just a single point extra. They're on to 19 points in 14th. Palace break a bit away from the bottom 3 with a big win this weekend away at Brighton. There on 16, Everton on 15, and Leicester just outside the bottom 3 on 14 points. The bottom 3, Ipswich with a big win, bridging that gap to those 2 behind them and those teams ahead of them on to 12 points. And Wolves and Southampton, who both sacked their managers this weekend, are the bottom 2 and both still single-digit figure of points this season. That is how the Premier League table looks then after 16 games, and we have more to come for you before the Premier League before the year comes to a close, before 2024 comes to an end. Three more, getting ahead of myself, 3 more match days to come before the end of 2024. And we will tell you all about that to come in midweek, because we have midweek action in the Carabao Cup for you as the quarterfinals get underway, as Southampton take on the reigning champions of the Carabao Cup in Liverpool, who head to St Mary's on Wednesday night. It was a tough league visit for Liverpool. They came out victorious on that one with a second half comeback. They have a tough place to go on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday night, we watch a classic of the Cup action as Tottenham host Manchester United Thursday at 8 o'clock. Well, that's it from us tonight. Bournemouth and West Ham left it late, and 2 set pieces of top quality, one from 12 yards and one from 27, to share the spoils for the 3rd successive time in the league. They left it late, as Bournemouth always do. Night night.